All right, guys, welcome into Unpaid. Every now and then in our jobs and in this, like your guys' job, you prepare every day if you're a salesperson to go out and, okay, who's my calls today? What am I selling? Who I got to go visit? What do I got to do to close the deal? Real estate, sales, anything you do. You're a CEO. What am I going to do for what do I got to plan today? Well, plan your work your plan. No different from football, no different from what I do, JB or Triple A. I put a plan together every day in our show rundown, just like you see on TV. So let's what are the topics we want to hit today? It's preseason. The wins and losses don't mean shit to me. I don't care. I care about the execution, how they got to it in preseason, who played, why, injuries, those things. But you prepare a show and you say, okay, we want to talk about this. There's Sydney Sweeney, and now the liberals are up in arms because, well, she's eating ice cream. Well, that's bad for your body. Shut up. Then and I would lean into that all day, every day. Hot women eating ice cream. Who the hell doesn't want to pay for that in a marketing ad? There's that. And there's this green dildo flying around. And are they going to, different colors? All those fun things. You put on a rundown and say, oh, this would be cool to talk about. Not that dildos are at the top of my conversation. Maybe for JB. And then you'll say, okay, we want to cover this football, the Slater's injury, that. And then all of a sudden, as you go on more in your morning, things can shift on a dime. See, JB, come on in along with Triple A, can adjust on the fly. That's called being a quarterback, being a coach, adjusting on the fly. So sometimes the rundown that you were going to cover, well, it's not scripted. We do have a little outline. Well, as I put an outline together, it can change. And JB, in a matter of about 45 minutes after seeing in my mind, after going back and rewatching, I'm out of my friggin' mind on a couple things. And I don't like to call people out on missed stuff. I mean, in a game I do. I don't talk about other broadcasters for the most part. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt until you fuck it up so much that I got to get on you. Well, here's two things that we're going to talk. So the rundown shifts today. Preseason games, fine. They're not going anywhere. We'll be able to get to some of those that aren't time sensitive. The Slater injury is devastating. We'll talk about that at the end before we go. But let me hit two topics today, JB. And I want to start first off. I want to save most of our time for the Anthony Richardson play that got him jacked up. He's going to be okay. Heard he's going to be fine. But the football play, it has nothing to do with, his injury or that. The football play. We're going to get to that. We're going to save a good amount of time. And as I'm getting with my new studio, I'm getting one of these big old Nick Saban college game day screens where I can learn, and JB will be able to do it to telestrate. Or we can draw up what we're talking about for you. We can still do it on the highlights. I'm just talking where it's at, boom, telestrate, pull it off. So I'm a big teach it simply to those who don't know. I don't ever want to talk above the people who may not know what protections and what that is. And that's understandable. Just like if you're talking technology to me and you're really technical, you got to bring that down to level 101 for me. So I don't ever and I did this as a broadcaster for all my years on television. I wanted to make sure I didn't talk under the expert. If Bill Belichick was watching, I'd want him to say, I got to tune in what he's talking about because to see. And, you want good football. I'm just using him as an example. And I don't want to talk over maybe somebody's never, ever talked to X's and O's, doesn't know much about football. So you teach him. And so there's a fine line not to talk over the amateur and I don't mean amateur in you don't know what you're talking about, or under the expert. So try to. So we're going to try to explain today as well as we can. Social media, boy, a lot of opinions. And I got to tell you, sometimes you just don't get it. A lot of you do. A lot of times you don't. And I'll admit when I don't get it. I do get what we're about to talk to today. But I want to start with this Shedeur Sanders stuff. As we say, it had nothing to do with that he's playing. In my mind, he is playing. He's going to start. My guy who I love as a human, and I think he works his ass off. We've talked about Stephen A. Smith, said that they're setting Shedeur up for failure. Well, rookies can be set up for failure all the way around. Doesn't matter. Hell, sometimes they fail getting off the team bus and know what the pregame meal is, JB. But to tell me that you're setting him up for failure would be telling me that he's done nothing in the preseason to get ready. And so Stephen A. was talking about it. Well, let's play just the first part of this. Do we have it? Do we have the sound? Let's hear what Stephen A. Like I said, this isn't a knock on Stephen A.
1 second.
Okay, if you don't the audio. If we do, if not, no big deal. This isn't a knock on Stephen A. the broadcaster. So now I can criticize or get after somebody on something that I disagree with. It ain't personal, but it's wrong. And he's completely wrong on this when it comes to Shedeur Sanders and setting him up for failure. Well, all rookies are damn near set up for failure. Unless you're a first-round pick that don't have to play much and you got a 3-year hall pass. Fifth-rounders, you got to show up, man. Here's what Stephen A. Smith said about the Shedeur Sanders getting this start in the opening preseason game after not getting a ton of work with the ones over the first 2 weeks of training camp.
I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail. That's right, I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been starting against he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. And then suddenly you throw him into the start lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. Think about that. So you're just going to throw him to the wolves like that, huh? I mean, you know, if he had first team snaps in practice, I don't say that. But he doesn't. And then all of a sudden he's starting tomorrow night. It's like you want him to fail. I'm not accusing the coaches of doing this. I'm not accusing.
Okay, cut that off right there.
To Haslam. That's a different animal right there. Mr. $230 million guaranteed deal.
Sean, can I say something real quick? Let me interject real quick. I'm going to cook Stephen A. because this shit right here is blasphemous, and that's his word.
Oh, and you should. I'm cooking it for this specific quote, not his career or his money.
Yeah. No, I got something to say that he's not using a macro level thinking about. He's already set him up for failure. Stephen A. has set up Shedeur Sanders for failure for the last 2 years at Colorado. That's what people don't understand, Sean. That's what they don't grasp. ESPN for 13 straight days, because once again this morning on Get Up, they let off with Shedeur Sanders having a great performance tonight can make him the starter for the season.
I don't care if he goes 20 of 20. He ain't starting.
Sean, they've already set him up for failure, and Stephen A. is the biggest advocate for it. So he's a hypocrite.
Okay, agreed. Okay, so because it's easy to sit behind a desk and not show up and watch practice or talk to people who do. Now, listen.
He was the first quarterback overall, Stephen A. said, remember?
Yeah, he's going to be, he's the best player. So he should be ready for this, right? He's better than everybody else. So let me explain this to you guys. Number one is tell Stephen A. to get in line about rookies that have to go in and play and didn't get a lot of work. That's number one.
Oh, it's fun.
And number two is what he says, well, he didn't practice against the ones. If you're throwing on time, you're system. They're not going to call different plays against the ones that they'd call against the twos or threes. So what Shedeur Sanders has done coming in and getting reps with the threes, reps with the twos, it's a blessing because Shedeur Sanders tonight is going to get reps with the one offense, not the two or the three offense. So the best players that are playing that they're going to run out there tonight, meaning Cleveland, he's going to be with some ones, probably some offensive linemen that aren't going to play, but some ones and some twos mixed in. So he's talking about the defense. They're playing against the number ones. They're not going to get a lot of work, but you got the same thing. You're going to get some ones and they're going to get some ones. But a gut play is a gut play, stretch play, RPO. Your system, you don't game plan for defenses in the preseason. That's number one. We don't ever game plan saying, oh, Cleveland Browns preseason. You look at them and say, oh, they'll play some cover two, they'll play some quarters, they'll play quarter halves, and you worry about what you're doing. There's no game plan for, oh, I'm game planning against the opponent. No, he's not. You're putting what you do in and put yourself in position to try to execute so your offense looks good. So he's going to have ones to work with, which he didn't have a week ago. He was working with the backups. Now he's working with one, so it's an advantage for him. Two is every damn one of us that's been in that wasn't a first round, second round pick, guess what we had to do? Be prepared on the drop of dime. That's what it's called. Football adjustment and adapting. Stephen A. is so far-fetched and 180 degrees wrong on this. That's one. Two is he's getting an opportunity, which everybody's been begging for. Now show me your shit. Get up and execute it. Remember, if I'm throwing a slant route, guess what the execution is? I'm throwing a slant route on time, whether it's the ones, the twos, or the threes. That ain't changing who I play against. The window may be open and maybe not. Well, get to the second read. So with this, didn't practice against the ones. So he's got but he is playing with the ones tonight. Well, at least the ones that are going to practice, like you say, we have ones. Baltimore's not going to play all their ones. Kansas City's not going to play all their ones. But just like the team he's playing at, isn't going to play all their ones defensively. My point is, if I call a curl flat combination against the threes, the mechanics of the play don't change against the ones. So it's what he's doing since we're not game planning a defense. That's up to him to study tape because nobody game plans the opponent in preseason. We do what we want to do is we put our library in offensively. But I got a real problem with setting him up for failure. How? Dylan Gabriel's been banged up. Flacco's old. I told you at the beginning of this preseason, Flacco doesn't need a snap. He's older. He's been in it long. He's going to start regardless of Shedeur Sanders. Flacco starting. Then there's Kenny Pickett. He's been hurt. So you go out and get Huntley, who's been in the league long enough that he may not need first game reps. Maybe game 2 he'll get him, or Gabriel will. What do you want to do? Line up a running back or a wide receiver and play him a quarterback? You've been begging for Shedeur Sanders to get some respect and love with the ones. Preseason games are easier than practice, just so you understand, because they haven't seen your route combinations 8 million times like your defense has in practice. It doesn't matter that he's playing against some of the ones on the opponent. It doesn't matter that he's got some of the ones he's playing against, because you know what would happen? If he did it against the threes, you know what Stephen A. and other ones would say? Oh, he did it against the threes. Let's see him against, well, here you go. And he's got a couple of preseasons, just every mixing and matching. What about the receiver who hasn't got a lot of work that's going to be playing with the ones or against the ones that's your 5th-round draft pick or on another team? It doesn't matter what team or a free agent receiver, and he's got to play tonight. And he's been getting snaps with the third. What's the difference? Ooh, quarterback. See what I'm saying? It's called football. It's called giving him an opportunity to compete. It has nothing to do with it. So what are you going to do? You've been begging for him to get a start. The landscape is there for him to get a start. Because he doesn't practice all the time against the ones, he's throwing 1-on-1 and 7-on-7 and team drill. You don't have to practice against the ones to know how to execute your offense. Because if I'm throwing a slant to a first window, I don't give a fuzzy rat's ass who the coverage is. If the window's there, the ball's coming out. And here's the advantage for Shedeur. If he plays well as the starter tonight, he'll be looked at a little different. Even though it's preseason and overhyped and ridiculous, he will. This is wrong. It is when they say setting him up for failure. You know what the failure is? If he doesn't play well tonight, maybe somebody drops the ball. He holds it longer. You should be looking at, does the ball come out on time? Even if it's an incompletion. Did he throw it to the right guy? Did he understand protections, which we'll get to Anthony Richardson? If Shedeur Sanders is looking at this like we're setting him up for failure, meaning the Browns, then guess what? Then Shedeur Sanders will fail. He should be looking at it's an opportunity. The ones aren't staying in for 3 quarters or a half or a quarter and a half. They're going to mix and match just like it's the execution of your offense. Nobody, I'll say it again, nobody game plans the preseason against the defense. You just don't. And so he's wrong. This is typical of media these days. Just throw it, and social media too. Throw it against the wall, hot take, yeah, irresponsible, set him up for failure. So what if he's successful? You know what they're going to say in? Oh my gosh, this is a historic performance. That's where this is leading. If he fails, we got the built-in excuse that Stephen A. just created for us. I love Stephen A. Smith, respect his work and his grind. On this topic, he's out of his mind and he's full of shit when it comes to this. Has no clue what he's talking about when it comes to setting him up for failure. If he fails all preseason long, it'll just be Shedeur Sanders didn't step up when necessary. It's the most ridiculous thing until we show that people want to tell us about protections with Anthony Richardson. So, JB, as much as I love Stephen A., he calls people out with a mistake and still loves them. I can do the same thing. He is dead wrong on this. When you're not a first-round pick or second-round pick, you're begging for chances. You're begging for these opportunities to go impress. Because I've got news for you. If Shedeur Sanders' name wasn't last name Sanders and drafted in the 5th round, he'd be on one hell of a try to get this done, meaning make this team. Hopefully he performs and we go forward. Wrong. This is an opportunity. They're not setting him up for failure. And the Cleveland Browns, well, they may move him. They may want to get him on tape. I can tell you this. He's getting the start tonight because just by numbers alone, why wouldn't you play him? Because in truth, if everybody was healthy and there's plenty of preseason quarterbacks that aren't going to get a look. They're going to be camp arms and get cut. He's getting an opportunity. I completely disagree. And Stephen A. Smith on this case is dead ass wrong. It's his opinion, so you can have your opinion, but his opinion is not well thought out or studied, period, on this subject.
It's a joke. I'm tired of dealing with it because I'll come out and I'll be a racist if I say anything. So I'm going to stay out of it because this is ridiculous. He's not that good, number one. I was the only one I know called the drop in his draft status. I said he would be a 5th rounder. He was a 5th rounder. I don't know anyone else that said he would be a 5th rounder other than me.
I sure as heck didn't have him in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and so I was a hater, but then he dropped, and then I was a genius. See how that works? But nobody ever came to me, Sean, and said, "Jam, JB called that shit." All they said was I was a hater.
Oh, of course, because they're looking at the 1 out of 100. They're never going to give you the credit for calling.
He's not that good, Sean. He's not fucking that good. I'm sorry. He's not really that good. His arm's a rag. He's not very good. He doesn't throw on time.
Not overly athletic. He'll stand in the pocket. I'll give him that. He's tough.
Yeah, he throws a good deep ball, but he's not. I'm just telling you. So when he struggles and he figures out that the Carolina Panthers are playing their ones tonight, as they are. Good friend of mine's the head coach there. Is a JUCO guy in California. Known him a long, long time. Dave Canales said, "I'm playing my starters for 2 games." Kudos to everybody that played last night. Joe Burrow, Chase, Geno, starters for the Raiders. I love to see guys play preseason. That's why the NFL quarterback position is as shitty as it is.
But you're not going to play him and put him in harm's way for 3 quarters. You're not doing that.
Patrick Mahomes is starting tomorrow.
Right.
Hopefully, we're seeing a trend now. Last year, they didn't play none. So I'm hoping there's a trend that starts to change back to when Sean Salisbury took reps.
Maybe I had to play. I played every preseason in every game for the most part.
Listen, I hope they do it again. And Joe Burrow's smart enough. He went 9 for 10, 2 touchdowns, and was looking like it was 7-on-7 out there. He's not going to get hurt. Guess who got hurt? The starting all everything left tackle for the Chargers. You know where he got hurt at? Practice. Like, you're going to get hurt, Sean. It's fucking football. Let's play the game we love. If you get hurt, so be it. We all went through it. But get better so the crowd and the fans have a goddamn good product.
Now you may not see Joe Burrow play all 3 preseason games.
No, you ain't.
You got this work. Matter of fact, it used to be boom, not much. 3rd preseason game when we had 4 of them. You get most of your work in the 3rd preseason game as the starter at quarterback. Now he'll probably get a lot of work now, taper it off in 2, in 3, maybe a couple series. That'll be done. Most of his work happened last night.
But damn it, I like to see it, Sean, because guess what? The Bengals start off shitty every year.
Yeah, that's
maybe Zach Taylor. Yeah, Zach Taylor's like, you know what? Let's shock treat this shit.
Right. I don't need to see Derrick Henry in the preseason at running back, JB, because that's pounding. Yeah. But I do need to see a little rhythm. And we've always said that. I'm not going to leave him in harm's way. And certain guys I don't need to see. I don't need to see
AR5 every game.
A preseason game.
Yeah, AR5 every fucking rep every game.
Dude, you know what I do with him? Now, Jones is going to get it. AR, he'd be playing a minimum of a half every single game, meaning Anthony Richardson. So the deal is that Shedeur Sanders, if he's successful, great. It won't mean a hill of beans as far as who's starting in the fall. And if he fails, it won't mean a hill of beans who's starting in the fall. Now, it may mean a hill of beans to his future as a Cleveland Brown. But playing the ones, you're going to play some of your ones, as I said. Shedeur Sanders, this is the best thing he gets. He gets to work with the big boys, playing against the big boys. Mechanics, they're not setting him up for failure, and nor are they thinking, well, let's hope he goes 1 for 17. No, they want him to do well because it's a reflection of the way you're coaching people. Yet, we want him to tell us how good he is, and then when we put him in, everybody's making excuses as to what? Setting him up for failure. Your ass, okay? That's irresponsible and bullshit with Stephen A. saying it. All right, now let's switch. So watch Shedeur Sanders. Look for the stuff. Does the ball come out? Is he making good decisions? He throw it to the right guy. If he misses a deep ball that lands out of bounds, great. So will everybody else that plays in the league. All right, I want to get to this Anthony Richardson. It's just 2 subjects today. It's Friday. I want to get people going. But this one is in my crawl. And I know people don't get it. Going into this game, he gets hurt. I don't know if we have the play, JB. We got it, Triple E. When he takes the hit, Anthony Richardson, he's going to take a hit off the slot. Coming from his right. I want you to just watch now. We don't need to analyze it. We'll just watch, and you'll see what we're talking about. Watch, free hit. That's a big fella, right? Coming off the edge. Now, there's so many, this could take an hour to explain. That's a big, okay? That's a defensive end with his hand. Normally would play with his hand in the ground or stand, but he is a big. That's what, 200, however many pounds, and the tackle's blocking somebody else. But let's back from the beginning. You break the huddle. JB, there's so many layers to this. We call this where I'm from. Well, I guess the best place to start is at the quarterback position and the preparation of this, JB. You're not game planning for defense, but that's a simple protection to block, correct? Number one is, let me start here. I'm never not blocking a big. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Big on big always. Big on big always.
I'm shocked at the people that don't understand that.
Big on big. What we mean by that, okay, I got my 5 linemen. They got 4 down, and let's say if it's spread, 4 down and Mike. Guess who has the 4 down and Mike most of the time in protection? 2 guards, a center, and tackles. The bigs on big. How many times do you see a guy in a regular season game drop back and Aikman will be doing the broadcast, who gets it, and all of a sudden they will, punch down because you're taking away most dangerous man and path to the quarterback. And the defense, who's not a guy like Spagnuolo or a guy like Fangio, will dial up, knowing your protection schemes on certain fronts and blitzes, that he knows you're going to do it that way. So you know what he's going to do? He's going to put a front up there or a blitz up there to get you to go big on small at times. So a 200 or 175-pound back has to block a 275-pound or 260-pound or the most athletic guy on your team, the Parsons or the Watts, or just a big dude who weighs 275, 280, okay, 260, explosive. You don't ever. Now, there's times when you got to get a chip. Guys got to block. I'd rather have my back on a will backer or a safety than I would on, or a corner coming off the slot, than I would on a big. I can't do that. So going into this game, we don't know what their protections are, JB. I can tell you why I know what the protection responsibility was. When the back runs to the flat, his head immediately snaps around when he crosses the line of scrimmage over his right shoulder, looking for the ball in the flat right now. And that can be one protection that I know of that I ran with Norv Turner 8 million times. That's hot to your right. For you to understand, and we'll go back and break this down. Hot to your seat. Go back one more time. I want you to watch. We'll deal with who's blocking who now. But scat means this. Look at the freeze it right there. Watch right when he breaks the line of scrimmage. Go ahead forward. I'll tell you when to freeze this, Triple E. Freeze. People ask one question. Well, why didn't the back block number 90? You want to know why I didn't block number 90? Is because number 90 is a free runner, and this is a scat protection. Scat meaning scat. Everybody that's not a lineman of those 5 guys is a free release. There is no protection responsibilities. So you get the free. His head, that'll tell you right now what the responsibility and what the protection was. Scat right. Scat right means back, tight end, everybody get out. And if they bring more than we can block, I got to throw hot. Whether you like the soundness of the protection, which JB and I will get into, that here is this protection. The back look. Now, if the back would have run his route, not snapped his head around for a little while longer, he clears the number 90, and his head snaps around so he can get the ball on the flat on a hot read. He is nobody's on him. There's nobody in the picture screen. This ball should go right now to the back out of the backfield because they're rushing 3, and you're blocking them with 2. That's number 1. 2, Anthony Richardson, knowing it's scat protection. If you look at the all 22 or see it from the secondary, in order for one guy to come to his left, the safety would need to go over and cover up the slot and be close, because that's not sound if you leave him at 25 yards and you throw a side adjustment to the left, a blitz, when they have more blocking than you can get back to. Go back to the beginning of this play and freeze it. So they said, see, look at the head, look at the center's eyes. The center goes left too. The center came to the line. I hate centers calling my protections, JB. Yeah, I want to call them as a quarterback.
You need a wide angle though to show these guys.
You can't tell. But anyway,
show mine. You can see the wide.
The center came to the line of scrimmage, and you point and protect. He is simply saying Mike left. What Mike left means, we are identifying, we are telling our 5 linemen and the quarterback and the back.
Here you go.
Who's on a free release, who has no protection. Go back and freeze it at the top. Don't run it. Just freeze the all 22. Says set there and hold right there. See, right now, the center is saying Mike left. He's pointing to the will linebacker you can't quite see in the screen. So they got their 3, the left guard, left tackle, center are going left. They're blocking left, the center. Now, in this case, if I was Anthony Richardson looking at the formation and the front, I would have simply said, check, check, check. Let's go Mike right. If it was that, but they're in a hot read. So I want the hot coming to my open side. You don't ever want to leave a free runner to your backside if you can possibly block it. They go Mike left, which in this protection, okay, back and tight end are both right. Back getting out, receiver getting out, tight end getting out, right? Or the man standing up, what we would consider the Y in 4 wides. It's 4 wides and a back in the backfield. So Anthony Richardson, once it's scat protection and you know there's no threat to the left, of course they're going to sugar and toy with you to the left to get your eyes there, but your read is to the right. His head goes left, and he never got back. He get hit. The back is telling you this is a hot read because of the way he snaps his head. So, JB, now we can get into what protection you would like, but I never want a back or a small guy on a big. While you always want to take away most dangerous man, but the truth in this case, you should have gone big on big, and Anthony Richardson should have thrown off the guy that you see sitting there about 4 yards off the line of scrimmage in the defensive in the Sam/linebacker position. He's coming from depth. He's going to hit the ground running on the snap. That ball should come out to the flat to the right. You go big on big. They go big on big, big on small, and he still should have thrown hot to protect himself, and he would have taken a hit anyway, but you let 90 run free. If he holds the ball like he did, he's going to get hit. This ball should come out hot regardless who they're blocking. It is scat protection. If it was a weak side, just flip it and go weak. Guess what that'd be called? We call it scram. Scram is the same thing. Getting out, free release, get him out. This is scat protection to the strong side of the formation. They call it right here. It's the strong side. Scat right, whatever their play call is. So, JB, while you may not like the way the protection is, if you had me in there, you'd say, Sean, if you get this, tap the tight end, keep him in to help protect, and then everybody else has their free release just to be smart so our quarterback doesn't take a hit. Anthony Richardson's been in the league 3 years. They put him in a bind here, but this is simple protection. This is simple read, regardless of who they're blocking big on big. Right, freeze. His head should not be there. Look, you see the slot, and you see the core at the top of the screen. You see the guy over the slot. The only way he comes is if somebody walks out over and is about 8 to 10 yards depth, because he's got to cover up for the backside left slot if he comes off the slot, blitzing. He's not coming. They're getting him and forcing him to look. It's scat right. 3 guys on 2. You've already met Mike left. We got 3 to block 3 over there. They'd have to bring a 4th guy weak for you to have to throw a side adjustment. There's a difference. Receivers are side adjustment. The other guy's back's tight end's hot. His head should have come right to the right, and if 2 guys drop, if 2 guys rush, 1 drops, you don't need to throw hot. You're protected. 3 came. He should have thrown the ball to the flat right now. Would have taken what looks like a bad play into a huge play because the guy covering the back out of the backfield is coming from distance. This is a big mistake, JB, and this is going to get people hurt, but the quarterback has to understand. And if he wants to flip it and say, no, go Mike right to block 3-on-3, go for it. Then his head can go back left quickly and say there's no threat. But what you got to understand, nobody is blitzing unless they're unsound off the slot to the left, unless a safety's walking over to cover him if he blitzes. They got Anthony, and plus they blitzed him. They threw a hot read to the front side. Anthony Richardson has got to see this regardless of the protection, JB.
Yeah, so I don't have to repeat.
Do most centers call protections? A lot of them do. I have never had a center direct from my rookie year on. There's never been a center that direct. They put it on the quarterback. Now, we always had, if it was a center, to trump the center and say, no, make it right, Mike right. They do this so the quarterback, a young guy, can focus. But this ain't no rookie. This is his 3rd year. This is a time when you got to start the moving day, like in golf on Saturdays, moving day to move up the leaderboard. And I'm not dogging just Anthony Richardson. They didn't put him in a great position because the big not blocking big, but they did protection. It's a simple, boom, Mike left, scat right. They got 3. We only got 2 to block him. Got to throw hot. You got to redirect the protection to right, 3 to block 3. Then your head goes left and say, well, are they going to bring somebody out the slot? It's a simple hot protection, and he missed it. And that will keep Anthony Richardson. Forget the injury. That'll keep him off the field. Flacco's head would have done this. I'm just telling you. Or Daniel Jones or anybody else that's in it. Joe Burrow. He would have simply, if he didn't redirect protection, they would have tried to get big on big. They brought 3. He would have put his foot in the ground. He wouldn't have taken a drop, catch. He'd have thrown falling away not to take a vicious hit and hit the flat route right now. So don't tell me, if you don't know protections, JB, that you can't operate in this league. You just can't. No. Now, that being said, I think they did him a disservice by putting big on small. Can't do that, JB. Can't.
Yeah. You show the video again.
It's got to be on big as often as you can make it work that way.
Yeah, the video we had up, Sean, as a DV Sport, as you and I use on the old show we did. So I got to break it down a little bit, so I don't got to repeat it all. Just you'll see it's 30-second where I explained it and how I explained it. Everybody out there that don't understand it, the common casual fan, you won't get it either. So it's hard to even do it. But You'll take a listen real quick for the crowd, but you'll see how basically what you said and added a few things. Go ahead, E. For the nickel. Now, this is the number one discussion on social media right now.
Right.
We slid the protection to the left to account for that nickel right there that just whiffed on the slot receiver. Why? The right.
Right. Exactly my point.
He's not looking to the right whatsoever.
It don't make sense. Why slide left and then turn left?
I'm not going to sit up here and say I know more than everybody. I'm not going to say I know more than everybody and all this shit, but I'm just telling you, homie, there's a lot of people that play football and a lot of people out here think that they know football, and that's the problem. So there's no reason to slide this left. If my QB, if Allen in the chat, now the safety walks down over the slot, Smitty. Now, Lucy. So now guess what? I tell the back right here, I say, hey, it's Lucy. You got the D in.
Got a chip, yep.
We're not even chip. We're full slide.
Yep.
Yeah, full slide left. Back.
You know,
Sean, if it's a full slide, Sean, the DN would have been cut down by my back.
Right.
That's what people don't realize. I ain't throwing hot off a D lineman because you know why? The backer that the O lineman picked up, that everybody on the social media that knows football that played it, respect to them, but they're wrong, respectfully. Because
JB,
I'm not going to have the backer. Yeah. Like, you know that backer, Sean? How many times have you seen Fire Zone where the backer peels and picks you off when you try to throw hot off a DN?
Yeah, what happens, DN comes, the guy's not reading, the DN comes in and the Fire Zone, the linebacker or the D tackle or somebody drops into coverage, you throw hot when you don't need to because he's sitting right in, they know your hot reads. He drops right back into the slant zone. You had it protected and sewn up, didn't need to throw it. That's called understanding protections. JB, Triple E, put that, JB, we said the exact same thing, 100%. One is anytime you can possibly prevent it, I can't put anybody but big on big. I got to. That's one. Two is put that back up just at the line of scrimmage. JB's cut, talking about that when you see the all the receivers and the secondary, other than the safety. Put it up and freeze it at the top of this, right when the plays freeze right there. Now, once again, with a telestrator, it'd make it easier, but JB did a good job, and I will explain it. See that guy at the 35-yard line over the slot who's pressed. Now, the guy on the outside of him, about 9 yards off on the outside receiver,
10 yards, corner. Yeah.
That's the corner. There's no responsibility for he's not covering the slot.
So, Sean, when that guy, if he blitzes, guess what I'm doing as the quarterback? I'm throwing an out route to the wide receiver. Me and him are on the same page. I don't need to do shit with the O-line.
Right, exactly. Number one is, let me back up for a second. The truth of the matter is, if this is done right, you're taking a regular drop, three or five, and it's good to go. You're protected. You never want to throw hot when you can this is basic protection. Okay, one. Now, if Anthony Richardson was a rookie, maybe Shedeur tonight, something like this happens and he misses it, I'll understand a little bit because his head's swimming. You're thinking about publicity and all the people and making plays, impressing your coaches, the fans, I get that. We've all done it. Year three, no. Especially a basic protection, it ain't that tough. And they got him on it and they okey-doked him. But this is not a major okey-doke. See the guy over the slot, folks, just so you can understand at home. And this is not condescending to you. You shouldn't know this unless somebody explains. I hear all the time on TV broadcast, they're playing cover two, they're playing fire zone, they're playing quarters. Then explain it to me. Show me a picture to where I can dial it up, but they won't. Hey, it's cover two, as if every swinging dick in the world that's watching knows what that means. Most people if I said cover two or cover four, could you identify where they're all supposed to go? You and I can, but majority and 90% of the people on social media can't. Okay, but I get it. You shouldn't be able to. This
John, the other part they're not the other part that no one's talked about. I broke it down earlier, but this is the right middle hash. The ball's in the right middle hash. Now the NFL hashes are fucking 8 yards
together than college and high school,
but it's still right middle. And guess what? That slot defender ain't coming off the field side, so I can throw the ball in space and have more green to run. It would be stupid.
Blitz there. You want to blitz in the boundary.
You and I used to get up there and talk shit to the slot. I would tell that slot, bring your motherfucking ass. I can't wait.
Plus, you're in the gun, JB. We were under center most of the time.
Yeah, we were under center doing it.
And everything.
Yeah, like they were in the gun.
Matter of fact, by the time he gets to you, even if the line screwed up and didn't block him, the ball is coming out if you have a clue. So, I want you to, and this isn't just on Anthony. It's just a different rapper. Anthony Richardson, if it was a third-year guy, if Davis Mills is the backup, Stroud, if he did this, he'd be getting hammered by me. He just would. So here's the deal. Or if it was, hell, who else is the third? Bo Nix, even in his second year, should get this. So see the guy at the top at the 35-yard line over our slot receiver, the H in this case. Now, with that in mind, in order for him to come, if you're a sound defense, what do you think has to happen? You can't see the picture screen, but the safety over the top that's not in your screen. See the yellow line, whatever you call that, the green or yellow line, whatever, the fluorescent line with the first down marker.
The first down marker.
The first down marker. You know what happened? If he was coming, you know what that guy'd be doing? He'd be creeping down, and you would see him in this picture screen at around 8 to 9 yards.
Or John, you faced it. NFL, you get a big-time Jimmy Johnson or somebody that's so good that
old school Jim Johnson defensive.
He'll come and you'll get the pill D in the pill and cover that right there.
Well, whoever if he's an athlete, JB, right?
But they're not doing it to the field. That's a boundary call.
That's my point.
He ain't covering my slot
the flat. Of the field. My point is, yes, if you got some guy that's not athletic at defensive end, you're not running him unless, of course, your side adjustment is a slant by the inside slot. You're going to just run that guy under the slant and get your arms up, and we see picks happen all the time. But as this is in normal, people are getting creative now. But in this, the only way Anthony Richardson's head should go left with what we're seeing here is if that safety that you can't see walked down at about the 42-yard line, right in there, and he was covering up the slot receiver. Then you're thinking, well, we got 3 to block. I got to keep my head's got to at least peek there first. Bingo. And they're trying to get you here to look left. That's why they're doing it, because you're doing all this on the left and getting all distracted. And on the right-hand side, they're going to make you throw hot. And you had the right protection. You love scat protection to the right to get a free release, because then again, somebody's got to come from distance to cover the back because you're rushing 3-on-2. We don't have enough to block them. Well, they don't do this. So right now, if you're Anthony Richardson, your head should go where, JB?
Right. Here's the issue, Sean. We don't know the call. We don't know the protection. We don't know the design.
Back told me it's scat right. Look at the back's head. The back told me it's scat protection.
So I'm with you, but I'm just saying, I'm talking to the casual fan that is out here critiquing the shit out of every single person that they think they know the play. We don't know anything as a casual fan. You guys don't know the protection. You don't know what Anthony Richardson was taught in this particular play. We don't know anything. What I do know is this. The tight end and the back are on the same side, and either one of them are checking. They are both considered in the side adjust or hot realm of things. So they're flooding a zone with 3 receivers over there. And a tight end and a receivers over there. There's 3 guys.
And the receiver you can't see is down here at the bottom of the screen. And
this is empty protection. We're at empty protection, in essence.
Right. If you ever, as an amateur or somebody at home who doesn't get it, all you got to do is look at when the back cleared the D end and you saw his head snap back, he was looking for the ball. He expected it hot. That's why you call scat.
And you can't bring the mic. You can't bring the mic and free release the back and have the guy uncovered. There's going to be somebody uncovered.
Right. That's the point. So, see his head right there. Now, go back to that pre-snap alignment. So, with this, and understanding the protection with Anthony Richardson should learn a valuable. I see this in JB. I see this on Sundays all the time. Guy will come up and point to a slot, and then they will blitz, and his head will go right, and you don't even look to where you pointed. Well, they call Mike left, and then they have scat right, and Anthony Richardson not understanding, or the team putting him in a bind, or not teaching it right, whatever. This should never happen.
But to have a D lineman free, Sean, is
you can't big on big again. And people ask, why didn't the running back chip him?
Doesn't matter. I don't want him on there.
We don't chip. Matter of fact, our back's trying to avoid, because you know what? If you're that guy, you know what sometimes guys are taught to do? You know what the defensive end at times will be taught to do? If he's not peeling, is grab him in a way that you could grab him, or you throw a forearm to the back that's free releasing to the flat, because now you know it's hot as a defensive end, and you try to throw a forearm shiver to get him off his mark if you can. The back doesn't chip because the back's worried about getting grabbed on his way out. And if he gets grabbed here, if Anthony Richardson's looking to the right, which he should be, then if you grab that defense, that running back on the way out, now he can't throw hot. So,
Sean, you know when you throw hot off a D end, you know when you throw hot off a D lineman?
When somebody whiffs.
It's called a fucking screen.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
stop
you
talking to me.
release him and let him come.
I'm tired of hearing these cats. I'm actually appalled, or at least shocked, that some of the big time players out
How
there
they don't know.
that they've been on Twitter acting as if I'm wrong. All right? You guys are blowing my mind. And listen, I respect shit out of Kurt Warner and all these other guys that I've talked to. They're wrong. I'm gonna be honest.
One thing I do know this too, as a veteran, if Mahomes or Lamar or Josh Allen, any of those guys are coming to the line of scrimmage, once you're in about your second year, third year, you should know this. I would have simply, in the pocket, you can put that away now, Triple E. I would have simply walked up and seeing that, JB, you know what I'd have done? I'd have tapped my center on the eye. I said, go Mike Wright. Or would have gone Mike Wright. Or you got to make sure, and they got to teach during the week that bigs got to stay on big. I know most dangerous man matters, but the big was on the line of scrimmage. He's going to get there because the other guy could get caught up in the wash inside. But what you got to do as a quarterback in this situation, if you want to protect yourself, even though I like to protect my backside, there was no threat to your backside as far as blitz and side adjustment. If you want to, basically tell the center, Mike Wright. In this case, after we see the post, then what happens, JB? 3 big on big and small, 3 block 3. The back still has his scat protection, free release. So does the tight end. The backside didn't bring anybody. We are blocked on the backside. You got 2 blocking 2. This is an easy protection to decipher. You don't take any hit. Now you don't even have to throw hot. You drop if you want. The back shows in the flat and you're still protected. Throw it to him. Don't pass up an open short guy to hope that somebody down the field's open. Drop back. Oh, he shows in the flat. Throw it to him. But you don't have to be panicked or desperate because you are sewn up.
Sean, you can go through and see Kurt Warner and all these fucking guys.
I haven't watched anybody on Twitter go through. I saw it at the end just before. I saw Jeff Schwartz, an lineman who I like.
Jeff Schwartz is wrong.
Empty protection.
I love Jeff, but he's wrong. Because listen,
it wasn't empty because we weren't empty.
Yeah, it's empty protection at the end of the day.
Protection, right. He was right about that. It is empty protection.
But here's the problem. They're talking about taking the most dangerous B-gap player, which was the backer that comes and the tackle squeezed it, right? We just old school call that a squeeze. We take most dangerous.
The guy steps down, people. You're in your
most dangerous path. Yeah, most dangerous path to the queue. But Sean, there's a fucking tight end there. I'm replacing that backer if you blitz me. So don't squeeze down and take my hot away. Don't give me a defensive end in my face. I'm going to replace you with the tight end.
And with your hot bill, and whether they're teaching that or not in Indianapolis, what he's saying there too. Put that one more time before we go here.
Yeah, show it again so you see the mic he's talking about.
And so what JB is talking about is what you're doing here. See the when you say the tight end, JB, you're talking, okay, right there. Go back one more thing real quick.
See that backer right there? Over the arrow?
Yes. Go back one more time.
Yeah, pause it right there, E. Right there, pause it. See that backer that's right on top of the 2nd and 10 arrow? That's the guy that Schwartz and everybody's saying we got to squeeze down if he comes into B gap, okay? That means that we're taking him and making the defensive end a hot guy. Well, guess what? If my auntie was my uncle, she'd have balls. We don't know this. We are dictating to you on offense what to do. I'm not sitting here waiting with my dick in my hand on what you do and don't do.
Let my quarterback take hits. You're exactly right.
Yeah, what the hell are we talking about? Empty protection is not that hard. Guess what? If I'm a right-handed QB, I'm going to protect the throwing hand in the empty protection and make his hot backside. If it's a scat protection like this, the hot
side, protect the blitz on the backside.
Yes. I'm fucking protecting his backside. I'm making my arm throw the side because I can see everything. The tight end's over there.
That hot rate comes out quicker too, JB. You off balance, just get it to him any way you can. What JB's talking about, if the inside backer comes where JB was talking about, he wants the wide to just replace him like a little lookie. That's what you're doing on the run, but you're still going to run the back to the flat, which what this does is give the quarterback
high-lows the shit out of the defense. They have no answer. No answer.
Hit the guy on the run. We see it all the time. Replace, boom, it's a little looky, little pop pass, bam. And if all of a sudden your tight end stumbles, you still got the back in the flat.
And Sean, on the macro scale of things, I broke down every single facet of this thing earlier. There's no the average fan don't understand either. It's not like I got a triggered hard 2 corner sitting there on number 1 out here. Now I'm like, okay, he might trap this. Safety goes over the top. I try to throw hot, and the corner nails my guy or picks me.
The corner's baiting you into it, and he's peeling, leaning on you.
Both corners are 12 yards off. I'm not worried about shit over there being trapped.
Right. It's not there. It's not a roll corner. What JB's saying, just if it was the other side, but take that corner and put him up like the slot corner is. Now different, where he can push and peel and trap, come back inside and light up your slot hot receiver or back in the flat. That's not the case. They're off. There's grass.
There's a backer.
Grass.
There's a Mike backer in the hole that we've ID'd, and there's a Rover strong safety that's sitting right here on that arrow. That's the only guy. That's my read key. That is my read key. That's it.
Only read key. You're not reading receivers. You're reading him.
TN. I got the fucking mic. In empty protection, guess who's responsible for the mic? The QB.
Right. That's his job. So what he's saying is guard take the DT. The tackle fans out and takes the wider end. And coming from distance, even if he hits the ground running, that's my responsibility. I'm replacing him with Y right where Mike left, because a safety would have to be coming from distance. Or if you like the back of the flat, because he out leverages the guy coming down to cover him, throw it to him in the flat right now.
Now, John, if you and I
want to get the strip sack fumble, no injuries. And guess what? You've taken a basic protection and easy read, made it complicated by your read and by your head going left, but also by not just making this should be a completion for a big game, JB. This is exactly what that should be.
And by the way, this defense is not very complex. So everybody out there that thinks this defense is some astronomical shit we've never seen.
What's complex about this?
Nothing. And the casual fan thinks that they won up the offense. No, the offense is a clusterfuck, and they have no idea what they're doing. The defense did nothing here. And by the way,
it would be complicated if you took that guy at the top slot and he kept toggling in and out and pressed, took a safety and walked him down on the 40-yard line over that slot corner, and walked Mike up tough.
And pressed the corner out here on the bottom.
Right. And then moving people around or having five guys stand up as a quarter. Like, what are we doing here? We got young
disco and dice the shit. Cloud Sky the shit. Rotate.
That's exactly right. Sugar in and out and all of a sudden. But still, when you count numbers, this is really, JB, quite an easy read, actually.
It's actually super easy. And here's the thing. My dick's hard when I get to the line of scrimmage, Sean, if I'm the quarterback.
You're begging for this. That flat throws, that's a 65-yard touchdown.
Yeah. And now here's the other thing. I get up here, and if it is complex, like you're saying, and I don't know what's happening, guess what? Why solid? Hey, back, move over here. So now I got 7 men protecting. I went from empty to blocking 7.
And you got corners off, so you got a chance to pound the outside lanes anyway.
They're not fucking out. They're not one-plussing my protection. They're not in a fucking bear cover 0 here.
Right, which I played against way too many times, brother.
John, this is my point.
What happened is, and what did JB saying too, just a bit, he's 100% correct, but to paint a 101, an elementary school picture, what he's saying is back, by calling out that obvious, he's telling the back, even though we call it scat, you do reserve the right as a quarterback, I would hope, on most teams, if not all, to say, to label it, to keep the tight end in. And then it becomes semi-max protection. Tight end stays in and helps.
Sean.
You tap the back on his ass and say, come over to the left side. Everything's off. I want you to come to the left side. Even though it's scat protection, you still work. Then you go back. You don't have to throw hot anyway. Now you just work the route combinations on the outside edge.
No, we used to have a Y protection. We would just had a Y protection. If it is empty or whatever, we'd have, let's just say it's 60. Let's say it's 50 protection because it's empty, 5-man protection. So we call it 50, but we could say 50 Y. So 50 Y means guess what?
You do like you do a receiver, you're just tagging Y to tell him.
Y's checking the Sam or whoever. If the Sam comes,
then releasing, check and release. In normal scat protection, there's no check and release. It's free release.
Yes.
There's a big difference.
And Sean, this is the other part about it.
Get out.
And this is the other part about it. Like down here, the tight end in the back, worst case scenario, we've outplussed them. I'm outplussing them on offense. I don't understand why there's a numbers game here issue and why his eyes are even to the left. To the left, he's outnumbered. Now, Sean, the other thing is, Sean, if I move my back to the left, and that's why I used to play chess with my quarterbacks, and I actually use these poker chips on the board. I would put them and I would tag all these guys by defensive letters, and I put it on magnets and I put it on the board. That's how I taught my JUCO guys because that's what they are. And I'm like, Sean, play a mental game. If I move the back to the left and I free release him, who has the back? Nobody. They can't, or they have to do
it. Unless the defense audibles out to their own. Exactly.
And that's what they got to do. Now they got to show me what their game is. They're showing me their cards because I moved the back over here. I told the Y to check. I moved my back and I said, you're hot right now. I would tell the defense what the back's going to do. Go ahead and blitz me.
Yeah, but if the defense doesn't have an audible check, they're going to still do what they just did, and you're going to have a guy that nobody's around.
And you know what that's called? Making them fucking pay. Yes. And that's what you do when you get this dumb shit. You make them pay, and so now AR5 takes a gradual step to where other teams say, all right, year 3, AR5 is learning some shit now.
And think about this too, JB.
But now he's not.
If it just stays like this, just on one simple play, think about what the narrative says. If this happens and Anthony Richardson catches it and pumps it to the flat right now, reads the hot read, you know what everybody's saying today? He's elevated his game. The guy understands. Put it this way. You can throw all the balls you want all over the place, have a strong arm, be athletic, be a really good passer. If you don't understand protections and understand fronts and coverages, especially fronts and what they're trying to do, and you got to tie in fronts with coverages too. A lot of guys don't do that, unfortunately. Young players, they don't get it. He'd have been just throw it to the flat right now. But understanding protections, if you don't, you do not last in this league, let alone health-wise, but more importantly, health most important, but also in helping your team. And real quick, we'll end on this. And JB, you make a great point about the adjustments of what we're talking about. This is a very simple read. The running back will hit his head on the goalposts if he gets the ball out, either hot to the right or you adjust and tap him. That's why you're in that position. You're in the gun. You see it all. See how they adjust. Make them chase. And the thing that's frustrating to me about this, JB, you're going to see this a lot. You're going to see other quarterbacks miss this. And then you know what everybody's going to say? What in the world's the back doing? Why in the world they can't block? And this is one person. I don't know what they taught on the field, but on this look and scat protection, there's only one person who missed this. You know who it is? The quarterback. He's got to throw the ball to the uncovered guy. And I know this, and I'll end with this. There's 3 things I know as a quarterback that I beg for when I'm doing things. One is, please blitz me. Please. That's one. Because what happens when people blitz you, you get to hit home runs into the upper tank. You don't have to play the methodical game. Boom, one play. And guess what happens if they blitz you twice and you hit it twice? You know what they don't do anymore, JB? As you well know, they don't blitz you anymore because they're afraid to death of giving up the home run. That's one. 2 is, I'm begging for man coverage as a quarterback. Begging for it. Because if you're on time and reading it right and you're protected properly, boom, man coverage. If my guy can't beat your guy, then I got a real problem. And lastly, and which is most important, we're looking as an offense, and JB talked about it, make them adjust in the chess game to you. If JB moves the guy, like we said, keep the tight end in, move the back to the left, and the defense has an audible check thinking, oh my gosh, the back went to the other side. He's just going to run his hot to the left instead of right, and they don't adjust. There's nobody that's responsible because the guy that was responsible and coming from distance on the right side that you don't see here. Well, with that, the last thing is the best you can hope for with this is we're looking for mismatches. I want Christian McCaffrey on a linebacker. I want when Gronkowski or Kelsey on a smaller corner that I can be physical with. In this case, please blitz me. Please show me, man. And please, it's our back out of the backfield should have a major advantage in a hot read or running route on anybody that's covering him in space. And that's right.
I'm gonna be honest. This thing. Listen, I'm not saying Kurt Warner and Schwartz and all these guys are wrong. There's more ways to skin a cat when it comes to
of course there is.
Line. And there's also offensive line philosophy. There's also player philosophy, and then there's guys like Sean and I who played it and then coached it. A lot of these guys haven't got to coaching it where they have to understand there's a bigger picture here. I want the easiest possible scenario.
You want it simple, JB. You want it to be simple for execution.
For my QB.
Overloaded with clutter.
Yeah, for my QB. And I'm in the gun, Sean. I better damn well know everything that's going on. And it's a radar. That's why we used to call it radar protection. If I'm in the gun, I'm in the gun for a reason. It's not for to run. It's not for any of that. It's for I can see and have more time from the shotgun snap. That's
Think about
all
it,
it
JB,
means.
when I going with Elway and that group, and we were under center 90% of the time.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to see all that under center?
Now take Anthony Richardson and put him under center, and guess what happens?
Oh,
it's muddied. Man, it's skewed. The angles, and is this guy deep or is this not? And here's one last hint that we haven't talked about, and we're going to go on this. You see those two guys that are one's at the, like he said, at the top of the arrow on the yard marker, and the other one standing in the middle at the 40 over this head up on the center, basically from this angle. Look at the stagger. Now that's a little more, you probably advanced, but he's 3 years in the league. Look at the stagger. Who do you think is more apt to come considering the front and where their body's positioned? Who's closer to the quarterback?
But Sean, here's the thing. You and I know this, but a lot of people, they can't come. We know it.
Right. That's my point. There's no threat on the backside to come. It's crazy.
They can do whatever they want. Pre-snap, go ahead.
Anthony Richardson head. Run it now. Give me that close angle. Last time, Triple E, run it and freeze it when his head goes left. Just one last point of emphasis, just for you. Freeze. Right now, he may still take a hit. That's called every single quarterback I know has scar under his chin. But if he's retreating and throwing it out, you don't need to take that hit and keep a little more forward till the back turns his head. Triple E, little more, advance it a little. Freeze. Ball should have been out 2 steps before that. And guess what? He catches it. And now a guy coming from distance has to cover a back in space. That's a home run waiting to happen. A home run. Freeze. Head. Should not be there. The protection already tells you, get over here to your scat. Now one more up. A little more. Freeze. Ball. Should have been out. He may take a hit to the ground. But there's nothing better than taking the hit and watching the guy go 60, 65 for a touchdown.
Show the other one, Triple E, mine again. I want to see the wide angle. Stop. Do you see the fucking tight end in the back, both scot-free? They can't blitz the mic and the backer. Look at this.
Like, dude, if his head goes left, he could have underhanded it to either one of them.
It's called a pyramid read, triangle read. That's what we do. I mean, it's real simple. The Mike and the Sam backer right there are both my read key and my danger player. That's what we call them. You can't bring both of them. I would be literally telling them, please, both of you come, you fucking idiots.
Right. Now,
they're not coming. That's why I don't believe in Schwartz talking about squeeze it down. I don't need to.
And look at this, the quarterback. Now, just if the DN's one step back, leave it there, and his head is to the right. Dude, he can, like I said, he could throw it around his back, get it to one of those guys in space. You got two guys that have nobody near them in coverage with a chance to go. And if you throw it to the back, guess what that tight end's going to do, JB? Turn and wheel and go block somebody. I like running backs in space. It's a really good thing. Bijan Robinson, guess where I want him? Catching this damn ball in the flat on a hot read. Please make me throw scat hot on a regular basis. Please. Simple. So there you have it. And that's the first preseason game. Now imagine when the pressure of a game goes up and it's intense and you're swimming and you're shitting yourself because you're young and you haven't seen it, and you're playing against a team like Brian Flores, who's going to pressure your ass from the time you wake up and have your pregame meal, like Jim Johnson did in Philadelphia back in the day, who I loved. And it's like a batting order in baseball that 1 through 9 are like a murderous row that you get to 8, you're supposed to be able to relax, and they just keep coming. Your 8 hitters hitting 310 and hitting 25 home runs. That type of lineup where the pitcher's exhausted. Not physically, it's just mentally. Man, I'm at 7 and this guy's an all-star. I get to 8, but the 9 hitter could be hitting in the 4 hole on this team. That's what this is. It's the same thing. You know what blitzing does to a guy who doesn't get it as a quarterback or a team? It wears you out, and they will feast on that blood. Feast. But all you got to do is hit 1 or 2, and guess what? Now you've taken them out of their strength. Pressure, 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 pressure. And now made them go, well, we're not really a zone team. Well, you are now, because my quarterback 2 or 3 times has hammered you in man, hammered you in blitz pickup, hammered you with a hot read, stood in there and took a hit and throw a fade route on press coverage, man blitz for a touchdown. Or hit a hot read in the open space and let the best guys in the world in open space. You tell me, if it was Tyreek Hill in the slot or whatever, you get him the ball in space? You think that's any good? How many times you seen him take it to the hizzy? Yeah. That's what you do. I'm trying to create mismatches. That's the best it gets for the quarterback. Just get the ball out. So hopefully,
I'll see you Monday. Sean, I'll see you Monday, brother. Love you.
Yep, get out of here, man. Thank you. Great stuff, man. I love you too. Look forward to it. So there you go, guys. It is, I'm reading this, Isaiah, even rolling down and replace the nickel, indicator number 1. In my offense, QBs were taught to never throw off the end unless we're I'm never – empty is one thing because we have nobody in the backfield, 5 guys up by the line. I don't ever want to throw hot off a big. I just don't. I want to be able to sew it up. And in that protection, the protection was sound if they would have adjusted protection. But underway, if nothing else happens, Anthony Richardson with the scat right, his head needs to go right, throw the ball to flat right now. That's the easiest thing after all this explanation. You're going to get a lot more of that in pictures drawn with telestrators and the rest as we roll through the fall. And you're going to get it right here, honest way. We're not emboldened to anybody. We're not, and it's not against it. Everybody has their way of doing it. But the one right way is you got to know how many guys are coming and who the free runner is. And Anthony Richardson did not know that. Or if somebody taught it wrong, then that coach needs an adjustment. I don't think that's the case because the back knew. He knew it was scat and hot. Got to throw it to him right now, and you get a huge play. What would have been a huge play and possibly hit the back on the goalpost, hit his head on the goalpost celebrating, turns into a hit, banged up, go into the film room. Now you're watching film today all mad, and people are pissed in the film room. What happened here? I thought it was scat. No, I'm looking left. And now you're going to waste an hour on the practice field over this one play. And guess what the next team's going to do when they play Indianapolis if Richardson was the quarterback? You're going to give him this look. Give him a look over here. Boom. I call it prestidigitation. Sleight of hand. Make him think over here. Bam. Blitz him here. His head's going to go one way, and we're going to unload. We're going to get some free short fields or strip sack fumbles because why? We're not sound in our reads. We're not sound with our eyes, and we don't know who to get and how to get them. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. A lot more preseason. I'm sure we'll have something to talk about. Shedeur Sanders. Stephen A., I love you, but I will tell you this. They're not setting him up for failure. He's going to have good players with him. They're actually putting him in a position to where he can open some eyes tonight playing against the better. If you play against the third stringers, guess what? Nobody gives you credit. You play against the first stringers, and guess what happens? People elevate you. Even though it's preseason, now it's like, damn. And I know one thing. I sure as hell want my quarterback to be able to execute against the best, not against the guys who aren't going to make the team. He's got that chance tonight. We'll see you guys Monday on Unpaved. Triple E, Laura, Craig, and JB. Awesome stuff. We'll see you guys on Monday. You want it real? This is where you're going to get it. You better share it with everybody else because it's only going to get better. We're not hampered by anybody or anything. We love you guys, man. Have a great weekend.